Hey guys, my guest tonight, Jon Stewart, is going to talk to us about a mysterious alien interview. We'll be right back. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. How's everybody doing? I think it's going to be a happier Thursday because, drumroll please, TikTok. All right, TikTok has officially been restored in the app, as far as the apps go. Google has restored it. Apple's still restoring it. So everybody will be able to download their stuff for TikTok. All right, we got a good show. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of lovely Sacramento, California. We're 45 strong up and down the state, which means if you have a paranormal need, we can help you. It might take us a while to get out to you because California is really a huge state. However, we will get to you. I got a great show tonight. I've been interested in alien phenomena for a long time, and this gentleman that I'm having on, Jon Stewart, he got a hold of a VHS video that showed what appeared to be an alien being interviewed by some authority figure. Okay, some authority figure. I saw part of the video. It's creepy. I mean, I'm going to say it's creepy, but I actually have never seen anything like it. And I work with video all the time. And the only thing I can compare it to was a long time ago, an Argosy I think it was Argosy magazine, many, many years ago when I was a little kid. There was actually some photos of video of alien autopsy. And when you try to search it online, you can't find the copies anymore of the particular magazine. But it was in there. My father pointed it out to me and said, "Look, look at this, So that's where my interest in all that started. And then I used to, of course, read like crazy on this stuff. So my guest tonight has a story to tell about this video and how he was able to get verification, the way he went about it. But I encourage you, if you Google alien interview with his name, that video will come up. And I encourage you guys to check that video out. Okay? Let me bring him in and get the show started. Hello, sir. How are you? Yeah. He's figuring out his audio. But in the meantime, just to let you guys, now that we're all on TikTok, for those of us that are over on TikTok doing our thing, you guys can you guys will be able to get your downloads, get your updates, and all that stuff. Because Apple.
I still can't hear.
Sir. You still can't hear me?
I'm going to get out of this and use my cell phone. Just give me a second.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Sometimes there's issues. Anyway, for what it's worth, you guys, I see Google already has TikTok back up. Apple does not have it up yet, but you guys will be able to download, and do whatever you need to do to get your coins and everything else now, starting probably later on today when Apple, for you guys that have iPhones and stuff. So it's exciting stuff. Good stuff. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. Pacific, we will be here. Should I go 3? I'm going to go 4. No, 3. 3 p.m. Pacific. We'll be here decorating that Valentine's gingerbread house. And then at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, we will be back with medium Nancy Matz to do the interview with her as well, for the usual Friday stuff. And then Saturday, we're doing our usual TikTok show. And Sunday, of course, we'll do the book reading. We got the new book to start. Monday, we start back up with the next week of shows. Okay, let's see if we can get in now.
If I sound like I'm in a cave, I am so sorry, but I'm
Oh, you.
having issues. So
That's okay. That's okay. Tell me about you, sir.
tell you about me.
Yeah.
57 years old. I'm from Chicago. Played college and semi-pro football. Was a pro wrestler from 1986 to 1993. Small businessman. I've ran for Congress, Illinois governor, and in 2019 is when I started the dumbest thing in my life, which was starting to investigate that crazy 1997 Area 51 alien interview.
What got you to? How did you find the tape in the first place?
Well, I like a lot of people. I've watched a documentary on a program called Strange Universe, and
Mm-hmm.
that was on the Upstart UPN network back in May of 1997. And I'm ready to see like a crazy job interview, thinking an alien interview, and you know, and I see an alien, and it's not gray like it should be. It doesn't have almond eyes like it should be. And I hear probably one of the most scientific, smartest people in the world, the whistleblower who called himself Victor, talked
Mm-hmm.
for a half hour, and I just said something is not right about this film. This just cannot be. This cannot be uh, this bad of a hoax with
Mm-hmm.
literally the smartest person I've ever heard speak. So something seemed very oddly strange, and 30 years later, I'm proven correct on that.
When you started to poke around, because it is hard. I mean, I'm a reporter by trade, especially a crime court reporter. I know what it's like to start poking around in stuff that people don't really want you to poke around in. How
Right.
difficult was it at first when you started with your research? Because it took quite a while, didn't it?
Yeah, it was very difficult because I wasn't an investigator. I wasn't a professional journalist, but yet running for Congress, running for governor, I knew everything you could possibly know about being a journalist from it being asked 9 million questions and about following up and vetting the sources. I had a microscope shoved in my rear end when I ran for Congress in '99, so I knew what when you experience it, you know how to do it. I mean, it's really that elementary. So, yeah, and I did one thing that 99% of the other ufologists and researchers didn't
Mm-hmm.
do. I came to the UFO community with hat in hand, humble, telling everybody I don't know anything. I'm a nitwit, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
aggressive. I got passion. And can people help
Mm-hmm.
me? And the UFO community, believe it or not, ended up helping me every step of the way. To the point where it's 90% that this video is authentic, and there's 100% that it was filmed fake or
Mm-hmm.
real by the
Mm-hmm.
government. But the UFO, I asked for help and I got it.
Because I agree with you. When you look at this video, and like I said, I work with video all the time. As a journalist, I have that eye, and it just doesn't look like the what you expect an alien to look. The way the standard alien is done in Hollywood. That's
Right.
not. It's not what that is. The eyes on this thing are creepy. I mean, this is more insect, a lot more insect like. You know
Yeah, yeah.
what it
People have
normally
said
is. And I had to
people have said
go ahead.
they've just fallen into the eyes. The eyes are so realistic that I've had FX people tell me, you know, I
Yeah.
think it's fake, but those eyes, it's. Somebody just wrote me like 3 weeks ago talking about how hard it is to produce a biologically looking eye, and
Uh huh.
but it was the casualness of this interview where the generals in the foreground, their shoulders get into the shot, the medics come in, they're not in pressurized suits. Again, a gray alien is tan, no almond eyes, round eyes, its mouth is opening and closing seamlessly with black fluid coming out of it. And
Mhm.
again, Victor, this man that many people said, boy, that sounds like one of my government project managers in the 80s. He just sounded like a legit scientist, somebody from the government, and the verbiage that was coming out of his mouth was raising red flags left and right. And I felt that there was something about this video that was not a typical traditional Hollywood hoax. And I'd like to say that it's been 30 years now, not
Mhm.
one person with absolute verifiable evidence that would pass in a court of law has come forward to say, I was part of that hoax, I helped that hoax, or this is specifically why that video is a hoax. And I don't care either way. And that bothers people. I don't care. I want the truth. So telling me something is not going to hurt my feelings. Not one
Hmm.
person has ever come forward to say specifically, this is why the alien interview is a hoax. And I find that remarkable because every mainstream video, hoax video out there, eventually somebody comes forward to say, or at least claim, fair
Right.
enough, that I participated in it and that video is fake. The alien interview defies all logic because it's
How long
never
is
happened.
how long is the actual tape
The
of the
actual
interview?
film that was removed from was 56 minutes long. The actual tape that Victor claimed he removed is 3 minutes, 10 seconds.
Okay. 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 You also were able to talk to family members, right? You know, the people that were involved in it.
I was, and asking for help. I got my, if we could term this Watergate in the 70s, my deep throat leaker. He is
Hmm.
a, you know, geriatric philanthropist in his metropolitan city who took a shine to me, took a liking to me on a podcast and said, I'm going to try and help you. I know people in the DIA who I found out runs the extraterrestrial alien retention
Hmm.
and interrogation program. And he said, I am going to try and help you with this film. And he contacted, from my research, somebody in the DIA who then sent him the internal investigation memo of how this film leaked out of Area 51, what was the alien, what time it was filmed, the day and date, and who were the men in the room watching
Hmm.
this alien interview, allegedly. And I contacted every one of the men, or tried to, and they were all verifiable military men, retired, because this is from 91, mind you,
Hmm.
who were in intelligence. And the doctor on the alien's right, our left, I'm going to be very to the beat.
Okay, I think we've lost you. I think we've lost you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the government.
Okay. It's the government. Yeah, Big Brother's watching us. He'll come back. Give it a second. You never know with this stuff, especially with what we're talking about.
Right, it's the government. Hold on, I think
Okay.
I'm getting you back. Let me, oh God, not Google again. Please, God almighty. Unless you can, well, you can hear, let's, oh, here we go. Okay,
There we
there we
go.
go.
All right.
All right. You could tell I'm one hell of an investigator. I can't even work my iPhone. So, anyways, so I got a list of men. One was alive, but he was an actual retired admiral. We had a great email chat. He ended up ghosting me once I told him and showed him the list, which I find funny. Anyways, I got the name allegedly of the doctor to the alien's right. I found
Right.
out that he died in 14, but I found his widow, his second wife. Can you imagine calling an 80-year-old woman and saying, I think your husband was involved in extraterrestrials? But I did that. I exactly did that. And she paused and said, well, that's interesting. The light bulb is now going off over my head. And I went, excuse me? She's like, John, I want to tell you something. There was a bone of contention between my husband and myself. His name was Dr. Wilford Webb Wilson, Watsonville, California. She said we would have tremendous fights because he would never, ever talk about anything about his time in the U.S. Army Medical Corps. And even despite all of our friend groups talking about their time in the military, my husband, Webb, never said a word. And it was a bone of contention with us, and you're basically solving a family secret. I now understand why my husband never talked about it. I sent her the film. She said, I'm not absolutely positive because he's got a mask on, but I'm 100% positive that's my husband on the alien's right.
Wow.
So, folks, I have an 80-year-old woman who's married to that doctor for 25 years, who identified her husband in that alien film. And I'm asking everyone, if it's a hoax, how did a production company in California hire a actual medical doctor from the army to participate in that hoax? Does that even
Right.
sound legit? Maybe it does. To me,
Right.
it. And this woman said that her medical doctor husband in the army was highly secretive, and it caused extreme tension in their marriage.
Wow. Did the alien pass away? Because I know in the video it looks like it's in distress. So do you
Well, I
know?
can't. Yeah, that's a great question. I can't tell for sure, but
Hmm.
Victor said it died soon after this interview, this one interview that we saw. Excuse me. And we also have a CIA agent that I found whose code name was Spartacus. He was in Russian propaganda, but he had tremendous tentacles in this alien interview program in the 80s and 90s. He told another person who came forward to me that that being was one of three beings brought to the S2, S4 facility, and that being did die sometime late of 1991. That film was filmed on April 22nd of 1991, and according to the CIA agent Spartacus, that the alien, like Victor said, he died relatively shortly after that interview was that we saw.
Hmm. Is there audio, any audio at all with that video? I mean, can you hear them literally interviewing? Back and
Well,
forth and hear the answers from the
yeah.
alien?
Another great question. Victor says in the first documentary he removed the audio track so
Hmm.
it wouldn't compromise. This is his wordage. I removed the audio track so it wouldn't compromise the individuals in that room, so their
Hmm.
family and friends wouldn't know that that is their relative or father or
Hmm.
uncle in the video. So,
Hmm.
you know, is that does that sound like a hoaxed line from a video
No.
production company, or does that really sound like a government employee
Hmm.
concerned for everyone else in the program, not wanting to compromise them and removing the audio track? It was statements and verbiage like that that made me
Hmm.
say, I don't know what this film is about, but that Victor, the whistleblower, that that guy's a scientist to some degree.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
ever find out what was said? Or did he ever allow you to find out what was said or no?
No, but we have tangential stories that they were asking the being about an underwater um, underwater object off the African coast in the Indian Ocean. That's what was said to me. Now, whether that's true or not, I have to be honest, I have to be
Hmm.
respectful, and I have to be upfront and say that is pure conjecture. I never saw it on a document of exactly what the questions they were asking. But it's funny that the one monk that they claim was in this interview room, a Carthusian monk that had
Hmm.
empathic abilities off the charts, said that what Victor said and what other people that I have interviewed that have been in S4 or a family member of one of these telepaths, which is throughout the 30, 40, 50, 60 years, not much was gained by the government from these extraterrestrials for a couple of reasons. The extraterrestrials were very reticent and very, very timid to reveal too much to our government about technology, fearing
Hmm.
that, you're going to give the monkeys the matches and, the keys to the car. And secondly, is that the beings were so advanced that it was very difficult to put technological concepts into their framework. And Victor said it's like putting calculus into the grunts and screeches of a modern day chimpanzee. It's almost
Hmm.
impossible. And funny or not, that the easiest thing to convey from the extraterrestrials to the government telepaths were spiritual concepts.
Interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Very interesting.
And that is not from one person. That is now from three people with one step of separation who were telepaths down in S4. That these beings were so smart that one of the monks said that it was actually difficult to. The one being did not understand human beings' time, seconds, hours, days, weeks. He did
Hmm.
not understand our concept of time, and it took days to get across to the being this is the way human beings operate in time. And
Hmm.
it took weeks for the being to or for the government to translate or extrapolate that the beings operate in time, which is called time sequence. They measure time by experiences, not by days, seconds, months, and years like human beings. So a simple
Interesting.
thing like that from two different sources it shows how frustrating the program was, and the beans, rightly so. I mean, we all have to agree. Seeing Target on Black Friday, and we're bashing somebody over the head for a $10 toaster, and I'm not even joking. It's not a big surprise why the beans didn't fully trust the human race, and still
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Mm-hmm. And it makes me wonder too how they even got a hold of these beings. I mean, was it a crash spacecraft, or or were they able to dive down and get them, or I don't,
Well, we have remote viewers that studied this interview and said that the bean was a controlled crash, so it came down relatively calmly. And we have another whistleblower that said that this craft came down controlled but a hard landing in the forest somewhere. But three, occupants were brought to the S4 facility, so says the CIA agent Spartacus, whose name is deceased now is Harry Radzicki. Spartacus. He
Mm-hmm.
led the Russian propaganda effort for the CIA, but was very, very involved with this retention interrogation program and claimed that there were three aliens, came down in a controlled crash, and brought to this facility.
Wow, this
Yeah.
is just so incredible.
Yeah, it's
But
it's been it's been amazing. People, you can believe what was said to me, and don't crucify me. I am just a reporter coming to
hmm
tell you what I found, what I was shown, what I was told. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's completely up to you. But I did 6 years, $27,000 of my own money, vetting people, backing up resources, checking stories from one time period to another. This is either a run of the mill extraterrestrial interrogation by a program that was in place for 40 years, or this is an elaborate hoax perpetrated by 70 and 80-year-old people in intelligence waiting for a crazy bald guy from Chicago after 30 years to investigate this film. Does that
hmm
sound correct? Or is the easiest and simplest answer is a freaking run of the mill interrogation film snuck out of Area 51? I mean, these geriatric people were not waiting for me to investigate this and then put their disinformation plan into place. It's ridiculous.
Question in the chat room is: did they release any of the aliens that they captured like that?
No, but
Did any of the?
there's again another story, which these are all. This is the currency of the UFO world. That they're all
Uh huh.
stories. One did escape with the help of a telepath, but it was recaptured on the fence line just outside of Papoose Lake. That's a great question. So one did escape, and then there's a crazy story how the government. I was told by two different people, two different branches of the military, both retired, that the five extraterrestrials in captivity, this was 5 years ago, were deceased, and one of them was helped to go back to his planet. Take that for whatever you want, but that's a really good question.
I mean, like I said, after seeing the video, I just can't get it out of my mind's eye now because
Yeah,
I see that alien, and
yeah.
you're right, it doesn't look like anything that we've been, I'm going to say, programmed to think that aliens look like.
Right.
And
It's disconcerting. It's confirmation bias. We've never seen a live alien, and now we're seeing something that could be a live alien that could really change our entire world, our entire paradigm. And your mind normally just says, no, no, fake, fake. Fat bald guy is trying to give you bad information. Fake, fake,
mhm,
fake, fake, fake. Go watch Wheel of Fortune. I understand that. I have a degree in counseling psychology. I understand the blowback and people, the reticenceness of not wanting to believe this is true. I am simply saying, after 6 years, no one in 30 years coming forward, and all of the stories, the FOIA documents, the emails, the internal investigative memos that I was sent, that could be this could be an actual extraterrestrial. And if that's true, then we are looking at the greatest historical, most important
mhm,
historical document in human history because it surpasses the crucifixion of Christ
mhm.
and the parting of the Red Sea, the fact that we have confirmation we are not alone. Again, if this film is legit, then that film is the most important historical document in human history, and I do take that very seriously.
Question in the chat room is, what happened to the spacecraft? Do you
I
know?
have no idea. I'm assuming that it was taken to a location like
Mm,
Papoose Lake, like Area 51. That's another great question. Something that I was never told, and I'm not going to make up a story about it. I was
right.
never told what happened about the craft. I can tell you the stories I have told that most of the craft back in the 90s went to Papoose Lake, Area 51. There was some craft that went to other bases like Holloman, which is Holloman, Los Alamos, Homestead. It is claimed that some of the Roswell wreckage ended up in Homestead, Florida. Believe it or not. A lot of wreckage, a lot of craft went to the Foreign Material Division at Wright Patterson, which they have a big alleged underground facility. So if it didn't go to Area 51, Papoose Lake, it went to a myriad of other places. And I don't even know if it crashed in the United States either. So I hope people can
Right.
appreciate. I have no idea where this thing crashed.
Right. And I can pretty well guarantee you, I mean, if this interview was back in the 90s or whenever it was, they've probably done a lot, quite a bit more interviewing since then. You know, because
Yeah,
our
there's
technology is better.
right. Another great point. There are insiders that have told me we have had film of these interrogations since the first EB1 Roswell in 1947 that they had
Hmm.
at Los Alamos, and then the Kingman crash. We had extraterrestrial at Eben. In 1952, it died in 1955. A colonel lived with it full time, so that was ongoing interviews that were filmed, and then all the other extraterrestrials that have been captured or retained.
Hmm.
I've been told that there are thousands of these interviews.
Oh, wow. You
Yeah.
know, like I said before the show started, I remember Argosy magazine back in the early
Yes.
70s.
Yeah.
They had a whole section about alien autopsy. They had the pictures of the bodies, the guys working on them, and the magazine just, you can't find it. When you go to Google it online, it's non existent. And it makes you
You
wonder,
mean
you know,
somebody removed relevant information from the
yeah,
internet
yeah,
about
yeah.
extraterrestrials? That's
Yep,
impossible.
yeah.
That never happens.
Big shock there. But I remember seeing it. I
I'm
remember
being
looking at it.
sarcastic.
I
Yeah.
thought it was so fascinating because
Yeah.
they were laying on the table, you know, the whole thing with the autopsy. Um, do you
Right.
think
I
that, like you
can I
say,
tell you a real quick story? I
go ahead.
I found a little article that said that $543 million was allocated towards for Groom Lake, the Nellis Test and Firing Range. And somebody said
Mm-hmm.
that that's the money they're using to refurbish the underground road between S2 and the Bob Lazar S4, where the craft were. And I didn't screenshot that page. Went on some internet and talked about it. It was gone the next day. It was
I believe it.
gone the next day after I talked about it on a worldwide podcast. So you are you are I was being sarcastic. Yes,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
stuff gets removed and sanitized off the internet constantly.
And when you mention the underground stuff, I can believe that because even going here to San Francisco, where they had the gun emplacements, you know, the Coast Guard's running it all now, but there's tunnels through the hills where you can drive through.
Right.
So
Correct.
that I can believe. That I can believe.
Yeah, the
You know,
government is famous for putting stuff underground. That's how you
yeah,
hide stuff from
yeah,
radar, from satellite, from prying eyes, from people
yeah,
peeking over the mountain range. You put it
yeah.
underground.
Well, that's what my dad said too when he steamed in because he was in the Coast Guard. When he steamed into San Francisco Bay, all the hills opened up and all the guns came out because they
Yeah,
had everything was hidden. So I
right.
believe it. I believe
Yeah,
it.
me too.
So in all your research, you know, the people were the people cooperative talking with you, but was it hard to get them to say anything? Because sometimes people don't want to talk about
I'm
that
going to
stuff.
tell you something. Yeah, I'm really glad I came on because you're asking really good questions, and I'm not blowing sunshine in your
Thank you.
direction. Yeah, you really are, and I appreciate that.
Hmm.
I tell everyone it was the most amazing experience for 6 years. I was expecting every person I talked to,
Hmm.
whether they were military insider, government employee, ufologist, Hollywood person that might have had knowledge of this film to hang up on me, to laugh at me. In 6 years, I still have not been hung up on. Folks, you're talking about myself calling rear admirals, colonels, um, director level people in three-letter agencies. Hey, I'm Jon Stewart. I'm an investigator. I'm investigating blah, blah, blah. Nobody hangs up on me. Nobody has hung up on me. Nobody laughs at me.
Hmm.
It's like, and I say I'm the Rudy Rudiger of the UFO world. Everyone laughed at me. Then slowly, like the Rudy movie, people started to believe in me and see
Hmm.
my passion. And eventually, people helped me so much they actually put me in the game or helped me figure this film out. And again, a great question. I have never been hung up on in 6 years. I've had people not want to talk to me anymore. I've had letters sent to me from like the DIA, like you're pushing the envelope here. But I've never been hung up on or laughed at by anyone, anybody in the military, the UFO community, or Hollywood. It's been amazing, and too much to my surprise.
Very interesting. Now, when Victor finally contacted you,
I
how
contacted him.
are
I
you okay?
contacted.
How did you manage? And I know you don't have to say this if you don't want to. How did you manage to find Victor?
Okay, so somebody and I hope I try and say this in every podcast. The
Hmm.
internet was my co-pilot. There were angels on the internet who helped me every step of the way, including my main whistleblower that heard me on the internet. So, folks, if you take anything from coming here today and bloviating, it's how much I credit these strangers, these angels on the internet for helping me. So one day, like it happened before, somebody emails me, Mr. Stewart. Somebody on Reddit highlight or lightened Victor's silhouette photo from the original documentary because we never knew what this guy looked like.
Right.
We we got his voice down to where we heard his real voice, but we never knew what he looked like. I'm like, I don't believe this. I go to Reddit, there I see him with the fake beard, this two hairpiece on, the hair that came down on his forehead, no upper lip. I'm like, I don't believe this. I finally have a face to Victor. And so I had that in my mind. And on YouTube, one time at 3 o'clock in the morning, is a old documentary called Cosmic Conspiracy. The guy turns around in a hotel room to look at the camera. It's Victor with the beard, the three-piece suit, the striped tie. I mean, it's identical. And I went to the end of the documentary, and I am 99% conclusively positive with photo recognition, with 20 aspects of an investigation that point to him, that Victor is the old time ufologist named Stan Dale.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. And Stan Dale was a disgraced Air Force
Still.
cadet.
Oh.
Like Bob Lazar, he was a self taught physicist. He was brought into the reverse propulsion engineering in Australia by Edward Teller, who also got Bob Lazar in S4. I find that strange that that name is brought up with both of these men. And both of these men, Victor and Bob Lazar, were self taught savant physicists. Victor had a obsession with the sun, causing an extinction level event, the end of the world, religion. And when he came back in 2008 for the second follow up documentary, which not a lot of people know about, he talked about that on Stan Dale's website. Is, of course, the sun bathing the earth in cosmic rays, the end of the world, eschatology, religion, almost like if you can find me, here's my calling card.
I've
And
had Stan.
there's like
I've
10
had.
other reasons why Stan Dale was Victor, but that's
I've had
two of
him on
them.
my show a couple of times.
Yes, yes.
He's
He's a
been
great,
here.
nice guy. I love
Yeah.
Stan, but Stan's Victor. Unless I'm wrong, and we're nice to each other. We went on podcasts together. We're
Yeah.
proving to the UFO world that two people can have a huge disagreement and still be cordial to each
Hmm.
other. He's showing me the lead, how to be a elder statesman of the UFO world. And if that isn't a really nice thing that has come out of this, then so be it. And because of his genuineness to me, and not just hanging the phone up on me, I am obligated to still keep my ears and eyes open that there might be another potential suspect for Victor. But after
Wow.
21 points, um, uh, 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 Victor, Stan Dale himself saying that's my doppelganger.
Hmm.
The lightened photo, the same hairline, the same crossing the hands at the wrist, the bio matching Victor's. I don't know where else to go, but out of respect for Stan, I will
Right.
continue to keep my eyes and ears open.
Right. Right. That's wild. That's wild.
And he's a
He
great guy.
he
He's a
does
great
have
guy.
the credit. He does have the background for it. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yep.
Absolutely. That's for sure. So as you were doing this, as you were getting the information together, was it sporadic or was it something that like people hope when they do this that one thing led to another to another to another to get you to that end point, or was it
Yeah,
sporadic and
people
you had to like sort it
Another
through it all?
great question. You know what people don't understand? I did this for 6 years.
Mhm.
There was 9 months. Think about this. I'm married. I've got three kids. Three grown kids. I've got
Mhm.
a business life. 9 months I spent just looking for one of the names on that list. Could you think you could sit at a computer? And I spent like $650 with investigators in research programs online trying to find this person. So yes, there were tremendous periods of nothing happened, trying to, hone down and bite down on one bit of information. Getting back on the computer, trying to contact more people, trying to put the word out. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think I would never do this again. First of all, and I don't. I still to this day don't know what was inside me that kept me going. Not because it was so hard, which it was, but the tedium and the boredom and the long delays between one piece of information and another. My main whistleblower would only email me once a month, and I
Mhm.
only got the list of all these men after 9 months. Can you imagine?
That's a long
It
way.
was unbelievable. I don't know where. I don't know what was behind me to propel me to do this, except to my thirst to find out who Victor was, because I was told if you find Victor, you prove the video. If he's an
Mhm.
actor, the video is a hoax. If he's not an actor, then there's a lot of question of what is that video.
Mhm. Mhm. Now here's a question I have for you about your wife and family, because you were so like into this. How does she feel about that? Because I know you had, like you said, this countless hours you devoted to doing this.
Yeah, my wife, I talk about my wife all the time, and people criticize me for that, but I talk about her because she could have killed this investigation in the first 3 months, right? Like,
Mhm.
you're not spending $20,000 in umpteen hours and flying all over the world. I flew to Havana, Cuba. I flew to London, the entire southwest of the United. That's a tremendous partner that I had in my wife who said, if this is important to you, go ahead and do it. And my daughters, thankfully they were in college, so they weren't so uh, micro focused on their father. But my whole
Mhm.
family and my coworkers and people that worked for me and my friends all saw that I was into something deep and very scary, and my wife and my daughters were very worried and very scared when we realized that my emails were being stolen off my iPhone, that would possibly our house was monitored, our computer was monitored. There's other weird stuff that I don't talk about and I never will that really alarmed my wife and my daughters. But at not one point did any of them ever say, Dad or John, stop this. This is
Mhm.
crazy. I mean, they really supported me. And again, I tell people if you ever see me at a conference or on the street and I'm with my wife or my family, don't thank me. Thank
Mhm.
them sincerely because they could have stopped the investigation right off the bat. And they
Mhm.
did it, and they supported me, and I'm grateful for that. And I think the UFO community owes them a debt of gratitude and thanks also, if I don't mind saying so.
What do you think is the biggest message that comes out of this video? Now that you have it set up and you figured out all this stuff, what do you think is the main message that from it?
Yeah, the main message is the government has been lying to us monstrously since 1945, because that was really the first crash. Roswell was not the first time the government acquired a interstellar or hyperdimensional craft, and they have been lying to us on a level that's beyond a nightmare. And this and It has been happening for so long, and I want to reiterate this. This is so important. It has been happening. The interrogation process has been happening so long that is why you see such a casual video. Doctors in short sleeve scrubs. Nobody's in pressurized suits. The haphazard, handling of the beam.
Mm-hmm.
Doctors that really aren't equipped to deal with an extraterrestrial. But after 50 years of interrogating these things, you could see and I use that word all the time. The casualness of this video is
Mm-hmm.
what told me that this has got to be authentic. No one could be this bad of a hoaxer, and that casualness should tell you that this has been hid from you for decades,
Right.
not years, and that bothers me because of I'm a constitutional Republican, and the money that has been spent covering up this secret could have been used to create utopia in this country, and it never was, and that bothers me.
It takes me back to thinking about when we talk about the doctors not knowing what to do. It takes me back to when they were doing the first space missions, the tests that they did on the guys that were astronaut candidates, because they had no clue what to
Right,
do, so they were coming up with any
right.
test possible that they could think of.
What a
And
great point.
yeah,
Right.
even watching this video, the way they handle this poor alien who
Yeah.
starts to looks like he's getting sick. Oh, let's wipe his nose. Let's wipe the nose. Let's do this. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there are you can find this on the internet, folks. This is not my belief.
Hmm.
There are run of the mill intelligence people who have died or are still living that have gone on the internet to say, I wasn't in the room, I didn't see an alien up close, but all of the documents I've read, all of the people that I've talked to, that I've been lectured in lectures with in the government all say the same thing. We really aren't really sure what these beings are, if they're interstellar, if they're hyperdimensional. We think we know how the craft operates, but we still don't know how the craft operates, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. So,
Hmm.
again, it's been 70, 75 years, and yes, we're further along in our knowledge of extraterrestrials, but the government, and Bob Lazar says this also too, that
Hmm.
we didn't know how the power source operated. We knew it worked. And he says, I still think in 2024, we still don't fully understand how this
Hmm.
works. Something with no wires, no conductivity to each piece of equipment. It operates like it's magic. So, it's really, I think, still mystifying the government.
When you first saw the video, just on a first look, okay, not talking about looking like I first look. What was your initial reaction when you saw that thing? When you saw that video? Because I know what
I,
mine
I,
was,
I
and
thought it
then
was,
after I dug into it,
yeah,
right, then that's when you start going, oh, look at
I
the
thought it
eyes,
was
look at the mouth.
bizarre, and it did not look. I didn't like the black studio like everyone. I thought maybe that was hiding puppetry, but then
Yeah.
it showed the flashlight on the body, and I'm like, wait a minute, I just saw the creature's body. What? They're not hiding anything. So I didn't know why it was so dark. I just felt very strange, and a lot of people have one or two feelings. It's either they just whistle past it, no big deal, and other
Hmm.
people, they all use the same terminology. This video grabbed me. The eyes looked too real. I fell into the eyes. This is the
Yeah.
redundant statement by multiple people that have seen this film. And I was just looking at it, hoax or not, saying to myself in my internal monologue, what in the hell am I looking at? This
Hmm.
is this does not look like made up.
Uh huh.
It's just too too unprofessional. Why is it not gray? Where are the almond eyes? And again, what am I looking at? It
Yeah.
grabbed me.
Absolutely. Let's see. We got a question. Yeah. She says our technology isn't even close. That's true. It's not even close to what they have. It makes you
Right.
wonder though, because with these alien ships too, like the Harrier jump jet. Where they're getting the ideas for this, and the stealth stuff. Where are they getting the ideas for this stuff? But to think that, like you say, that this has gone on for years, and there's thousands of these aliens that they've had, that they've interviewed. And in a way, it's a good thing because they're interviewing them, but in a way, it's kind of sad because obviously they're not going to survive if they do bring them in.
Right. It's almost a death sentence, and that's a great
Yeah.
point. And I have, and that was something that really concerned Victor. That was something that has concerned a lot of people in the program. Like, wait a minute, these beings tell us that they have souls, so they are life forms. Just because they don't look like us doesn't mean they shouldn't have the same rights,
Hmm.
or or the same benefits of being treated like a human being. Even though they're not Homo sapien, they're another life form. And
Right.
yes, I have a tremendous um, problem with that because if they would have wanted to destroy our world, they would have probably done that 10,000, 20,000 years ago.
Absolutely.
So I'm not totally sure of their intent, but it doesn't seem like they have outright hostility. And the fact that we are treating them more like a perpetrator in a crime than as an ambassador of another world is
Hmm.
troubling to me. And I'm
Hmm.
not cutting the government down. I'm just making a personal statement that it is troubling to me.
I'm just looking to see what they say.
You know, and what are they
Yeah.
going to find? What are they going to do if they hear from the being I'm from Zeta Reticuli? What does that
Right.
change? Are you
Yeah.
going to send a spaceship there? I mean, are we going to bomb Zeta? Who cares? I
Right.
don't mean to. I don't mean to sound sophomoric, but well, you spent trillions of dollars. Okay, we've gotten stealth technology from it, transistors that has changed the world. Fiber optics, Velcro, laser improvement. Yes, you've changed the world, but are we still examining craft 70 years later? I mean, get
Hmm.
on
Hmm.
with it. You know, in nation from being, what do you want? I want to ask the government, what do you want to know? A better way to kill our enemy? Because you're certainly not using the information to benefit mankind in a broad spectrum. And now I'm
Right.
sounding like Victor and everybody in the
Right.
program, but I can understand their mentality and their frustration of, wait a minute, it's been 70 years. Let's benefit mankind. But the project leaders are, Victor says, are very intellectually average, and this information from the beans seems like it's not going to get out.
Well, I agree with you. I was thinking of that while I was talking to you. I mean, if they've done this to thousands of them, how much more can they squeeze? I mean,
Exactly.
certainly they've got the information they need. Now
Right.
they're just doing it to say, hey, we got these things here. We're still interviewing them. And like you
Yeah.
say, hey, I know a good mankind microwave. There you go, benefiting mankind microwave oven, right?
Right. Right.
um,
And to say that we're so, yes, I know we kill each other over a $10 toaster on Good Black Friday. I get
yeah,
that. But nonetheless, you're treating us like children. You're mocking our citizenship.
hmm,
And that has got to end. No one gives a shit anymore about extraterrestrials. I am telling the government this because I
yeah,
know they're listening. I know they're going to eventually listen to this. Nobody cares anymore. We care more about Orange County housewives and Wheel of Fortune and the NFL. I don't think if Donald Trump carried a gray alien out on stage, it'd be news for 3 days and
right.
we'd be talking about the Oscars. I really, truly believe that. I just hope the government realizes that.
Yeah, I just think it's been there's so many stories about it, so many contactees, all this stuff has come on. Now we're to the point where if my neighbor across the street came out and said, "Look, I'm a hybrid," shook my hand, I'd be okay, cool, fine.
Yeah, right.
Let's have
Yeah.
coffee.
It was
You
something
know,
like 86% of America believes the government knows more about extraterrestrials than they're
right?
telling. 86%. Nobody cares anymore. Your desensitization program with the cartoons in the 50s, Steven Spielberg and this, it worked. We don't give a
Yeah,
shit anymore. We don't care. Get out of the bunkers, come up from the underground facilities. No one cares. We
yeah.
care about the NFL and shopping and the new car that's out. I'm sorry, generals and colonels. Nobody gives a shit anymore. They really don't.
Well, that's why if they do have, if they do allow the aliens to come out, okay, I don't think people are going to be as scared as the government thinks we're going to be. at that
Right.
point because we're like you say, we're desensitized now.
Yeah, and I don't believe we have any living extraterrestrials in captivity right now.
Hmm.
I've had every intelligence person that claims they know about this program that there are no living beings in captivity right now. So, and that was like I was told that in like 23. So
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
thinking that's the same thing.
Hmm.
But the bodies are still in captivity. And how many times can you microscopically look at extraterrestrial tissue? I mean, really? Come on.
Unless it's different types of extraterrestrials, but who knows? Who knows what they're getting? Because
I
right now,
understand that. Right.
you know,
Okay.
we've been told about the reptilians and the ones that look like insects and all this,
Right.
but in the grays, right? The grays. We talk about the grays, but from the descriptions, what they're looking at right now, what they're looking at in this video is nothing like what we were told.
No, and that's why the DIA referred to this being as the other gray. Folks,
Yeah.
this was so run of the mill. This program is so ancient for
Uh huh.
60 years that they don't even bother to give this gray alien a name.
Mhm.
They said it was a haploid, but that is the definition of a sexual chromosomal title. That the haploid is having one sexual chromosome. They didn't call it type 3, type 7. It was literally in the DIA investigatory memo. This was referred to as the other gray. How demeaning, how unimportant
Mhm.
that they didn't even bother to give this being a name. I
Yeah.
cannot emphasize enough. It is things like it is aspects like that that make me say this has been going on for decades. It's really not that big of a deal. And when you leave a
Absolutely.
stool that you could have bought at Kmart in Las Vegas in the shot, and medics are coming in short sleeve scrubs, I'm right. It's not a
Uh huh.
big. It was not a big deal in '91. It probably wasn't a big deal in the '60s, and in
Mhm.
2025, it's sure as shit not a big deal anymore.
Absolutely. See that question?
Sorry for swearing.
That's okay. What if they? Oh yeah. Question in the chat room is, well, what if they had the cure for cancer?
I
Who
agree.
knows? Yeah.
I agree, but we're not using that to, and that is what made so many people in the program frustrated, wanting to quit, or actually conspiring to sneak out material to show the world we have aliens. Is this all making sense? Can you imagine in 1979, 86, you're finding out the cure for cancer from one of these beings, and the government project managers are going, shh, let's let's keep this under wraps for right now. I would quit too. I would try and sneak out material too.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're very passionate about this, and I like that. I
Sorry.
like your passion
I'm
about this.
Italian. I'm Italian, so I talk loud. I talk with my hands. I apologize.
But that's what makes you believable,
Well,
because
okay.
you're very passionate about this.
Yeah, I'm passionate because I'm frustrated. Yes,
Mhm.
I'm excited that I found out a lot of interesting things, and I was successful in an investigation that I thought I was going to fall flat on my face. So yes, I am a little excited, but I am more frustrated that I see now right in front of my face, and I can't get the world to look at this situation through my glasses. So it is a little frustration too. When I get frustrated, I get loud and hands start moving. And
Well, that's fine. It's fine. It makes it so much, like I said, more believable. You know, for your findings. Is there anybody else around that has claimed that he found stuff? That they have found stuff for
Well,
this?
John Lear, this is amazing. In
Mhm.
1986, 7 years before this film was filmed, and 12 years before it came on to the documentary, John Lear in front told George Knapp there is an alien interview film that has snuck out of S4 and that is going to be shown to the public. Now, this is obviously not our alien interview because
Mhm.
that what John Lear was talking about was either 1986 or before. And so we think it's the one from the 60s, where the aide, helped smuggle out that film. I won't go into that because I don't have enough information.
Right.
But we think that interview is from the 60s. So yes, interviews that are floating around. Who knows what else is going to leak out or will leak out now that Congress as of this week, is putting a full court press on the release of some of this information.
There we go. There we go. So what's next for you?
Retiring, never going into the UFO community again, and no, I made an oath to the UFO community that I would stick with this, answer questions, go on podcasts till next Thanksgiving, which would be the 1 year anniversary of my documentary release, which is at huntingvictor.com. I would love to sell this to Netflix, get a $400,000, $300,000 budget, and really do a comprehensive, analysis of the film, recreate the being, get live interviews on tape, go to some more of these whistleblowers, because they have money for travel and whatnot, and really do a first class 2025 investigation of this material. Yes, I would be interested in doing that. I believe one day this will be on Netflix and we will see a much better and a more comprehensive investigation. And until then, you know, I, this has been a really hard journey, and I said my piece. I did what said I was going to do. I said I would find Victor, and I said I would try to find the truth about this film. And I think I've done both of that. I walked my talk. I tried to get as much information, whether about this film or other aspects that were emailed to me to the UFO community. That didn't go over so well, but so be it. I would just like to fade off into the sunset, to be quite honest with you, because it's a very frustrating process. Dealing with people and trolls on the internet is equally as frustrating, and
Mm-hmm.
I really don't need it. I don't need
Right.
to be called fat, bald, crazy-eyed, scammer, con artist.
Right.
Who needs that when you're
Right.
really put your heart out? And all I simply did was show people what I saw, what I was sent, and what I found. That's it. I didn't say it was real. I'm just
Right.
telling people my investigation. That's a con man? Okay, I guess. And because of that, you won't see me anymore after this Thanksgiving. So you got your wish.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm very honored that you were here.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much. Thank you for the great questions from yourself and your listeners and viewers. I really appreciate it. And it's been an honor speaking with you today. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So yeah, like I said, thank you so much. When I saw the video, I knew I had to interview you. I had to. There was
Well,
no
I'm
ifs or
glad you
ands. That's
did.
why. That's why
Yeah.
you guys, you Google Jon Stewart alien interview, and you'll see the video,
Yeah.
and it is pretty wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Well, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it, and maybe we can get you on before you retire. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, just call me. I'd be more than happy to. I really enjoyed our hour together. Thank you.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it's up to you guys to check the video out. I was creeped out. And like he says, it's the eyes. It's the eyes. At least I got the chair in the right place today. I'm not like here, but it's the eyes that get me. Like he says, it's the eyes. It's those just the alien eyes. Okay, quick reminder. About 45 minutes. I'll be over on TikTok doing live readings, past, present, future. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. We're going to be live early. We're going to be building that Valentine's Day Christmas gingerbread house. So that'll be happening at 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. And then at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, of course, it's Casual Friday with Medium Nancy Matz and her wonderful topic, which I can't remember what it is right now, but you guys are fans. And then again, 7 p.m. Pacific, we're going to be doing something special for Valentine's Day. Nancy gifted me for my birthday with some Love Oracle cards. So Dr. Love will be in the office, and we're going to be doing some love readings for you guys. So if you want to know what's going to happen with your future love life, come on in tomorrow night. So it's going to be a busy day. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day for us. In the meantime, just to give you guys a quick reminder for you guys that are on TikTok, the Justice Department has sent a letter to Apple and Google and telling them that they will not prosecute if they allow TikTok to be in the apps. So Google already has TikTok set up in its app store again, and Apple's about to do it. So anybody that's what Google can recharge and do everything else they did before with TikTok, and it's just a matter of time before they do it with Apple. The interesting part of that is their TikTok is called something else. Okay, I'm not saying somebody bought it, But TikTok has a completely different name. It's got like a LTD name on there. Yeah. So who knows? So maybe they're not going to tell us anything anyway. But I'm just saying TikTok does have a different name on there. It says TikTok something to something something. All right. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow for this show at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Otherwise, if you're into TikTok and all that, come on over to California Haunts over on TikTok. I'll be doing some readings tonight, and we're gonna have some fun. Okay? You've never seen a psychic medium like me? It's the magic that is me. Also, before I get off, I want to say happy birthday to my producer, Marisa Haynes, who's been in the chat room today. Happy birthday, and we're going to do something this weekend and all that good stuff. But hope you're having a good day, and I will see you soon. On the weekend, and we'll go out, get some dinner, get some dinner, hit up Olive Garden, and do our dinner thing. And yeah, happy birthday. All right, guys, that's it for me. I will see you in about 45 minutes. Okay, bye.